All right, moving on to another story. Fats. Anne-Marie, you and I always talk about this. We do talk about like our crazy diet plans, our ideas. Like we've sort of we do this a lot, right?
Yeah, right?
So it's to fear or not to fear. That is the ongoing question many Americans are debating right now, and it all comes down to dieting or eating healthier.
Yeah, according to new research from Harvard, the answer is not as simple as many may think. Dr. Alexandra Sowa is a doctor of internal medicine, and she's here to set the record straight for us, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about this idea of being fat phobic. Where did that come from?
Well, in the 1970s, studies came out that showed that certain fats were linked to cholesterol, and so people said, avoid fats. And then we started doing everything low fat. And now we realize that there are two different types of fats. So there are saturated fats that come from animal products, dairy, meats, and when you eat them in excess, they can be linked to cholesterol. There is another sort of fat, an unsaturated fat, that we find in avocados and nuts and certain oils that can be actually cardioprotective and good for your brain.
Mm-hmm. So the question, I think, we've seen that, but now there are good carbs, bad carbs. Everything that we thought was bad for us is now good for us. Things that we thought were good for us are now bad for us, you know?
I'm not ever sure we thought that sugars were good for us, and so there are two types of carbs in the same way that there are fats. There are simple and there are complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are broken down very quickly by the body, and when this happens, your pancreas secretes a large level of insulin, and over time this can lead to diabetes, weight gain, fatty liver. Yeah. So the carbohydrates you want to focus on are complex carbohydrates that take longer for your body to break down. So those are in whole grains, lentils, some forms of potatoes like sweet potatoes.
Why is it important to understand these differences? You know, I remember a friend of mine who became a vegetarian, and we all thought he was going to get really healthy, and then he gained like 40 pounds, probably because he didn't understand these differences. So explain why it's so important.
Well, we know that weight loss comes by calorie reduction. So there are many ways to achieve that. The ways that I tell my patient to stay healthy, keep weight off, generally are to follow a low carbohydrate diet because people can stick to it and the protein does satiate you. So when you switch over to a full, no meat, no protein diet, it can be harder. There are ways to do it. You just have to watch your portions and your calorie intake.
Good advice. Dr. Alexandra Sowa, thank you so much for being here.